Thank you to Anton Duplessis there, CEO of Zinwell Lithium. And now it's time for the next presentation from Anton Viljoen, Chief Executive Officer of AfriTin, of course, an African tin mining company with its flagship asset in Namibia. Don't forget, if you want to submit a question, use that comments box on the right. Here we go.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Viljoen, Chief Executive Officer of AfriTin Mining. I'm delighted to join you today from my hometown, Johannesburg in South Africa. Before I get started, I'd like to thank Turner Pope Investments and Vox Markets for hosting the webinar, and of course all of you for joining us. AfriTin has had an extremely exciting last few months. Our flagship tin mine, Uis, which is located in Namibia, a country in Southwest Africa, achieved nameplate capacity in November last year. This was a huge achievement and a defining milestone for my team, which in the space of 11 months produced 300 tons of tin ahead of the year end and during the backdrop of the global pandemic. This accomplishment provides us with a platform and the confidence to progress further, and as you'll note from this presentation, AfriTin's vision is to become the African tin champion. We'd like to develop Uis further into a large-scale mining and processing facility targeting production of around 5,000 tons per annum, which is roughly 1% of the annual tin global production. Please could you read this slide in your own time, and this is available on our website. Today's presentation comes at a very opportune time. The tin price is actually going gangbusters. In fact, it's the highest level since 2014, and this is based on anticipated demand growth from the electronic sector, while supply remains very tight in the market, as I'll explain a little bit further. As you'll see on slide 4, AfriTin represents London's only pure exposure to tin production and therefore the market, gone from listing on AIM to first production in 2 years. Tantalum and lithium are also going to be added on as additional credits. So what drives us? We want to be the preeminent tin company and mining company that brings quality projects to the market. Tin is the right commodity. We are in the lowest cost curve. We are in early production with cash flows advancing significantly, and this opportunity is scalable with the potential to become the biggest open-cast tin mine in the world. From an environmental and social governance point of view, it's paramount to AfriTin's success as we look to join the International Finance Corporation's performance standards. Tin is often referred to as a conflict mineral in that it's mined in areas that are in difficult jurisdictions, and operating in a beautiful country like Namibia, it gives us a conflict-free status. We are very proud of the way we operate and conduct ourselves in the country. All of our permanent staff are Namibian citizens, which is an important part of developing communities and helping it flourish. We're in an environmentally beautiful area, and we aim to have as little long-term impact on the environment as possible. Why is tin so exciting? The fundamentals are really fantastic if you consider tin in comparison to its peers. Tin is going to be the glue of the new technology revolution. Everything from electric vehicles to renewable energy and energy storage, tin will have a crucial part to play in all of this. Despite this, there are no large-scale tin mines coming on stream that in the next couple of years, except for the two projects in Africa, one of which is Uis, which is the largest open-cast tin mine in the world. Tin last year was tied with copper as the best LME performer, although copper always gets a much better mention. What you'll see also that really happened in the last couple of weeks is that with China, there's been a reduced amount of supply from the Yunnan region, which is one of the biggest tin producers in the world. This is as a result of floods and obviously the COVID impact. And more recently, the Myanmar coup, which is where a large part of the tin production for China comes, has cast a huge amount of doubt in the world market, which all plays into the supply shortage. From a demand point of view, although the historic demand has always been around cans and what have you, the new future for tin is all about technology. 5G technology is where we see the future, as well as electric vehicles and the like. And you'll see that this has had a knock-on effect in the tin price. The tin price is at its sort of five-year highs of $24,000 a ton. But what also is very exciting about WES, and where we see this project really sort of coming into its own, is on this byproduct potential. So not only will we be producing tin, but we've also declared a resource on tantalum and lithium. These markets speak for themselves. Tantalum is required in all cell phones, and lithium is buoyed by the new push towards a greener future. And this is something that we'll be focusing on in the coming year. So our project is one of the major tin projects in one of the major tin regions in Africa. This region in Namibia was mined extensively in the past. You can see the tin occurs in these pegmatite belts that run for hundreds of kilometers. There are a number of different occurrences within these pegmatite belts and contain a number of different elements, such as tin, tantalite, niobium, beryllium, lithium, and titanium. And there were a number of different mines in these areas that are now dormant. The biggest of which at the time was WES, and that is where we focused on, specifically ML134. But what has been quite interesting of late is our other exploration license area, which was also a historic mine called the Brandberg West mine. We're doing a similar project there, and we're actually looking to have another multi-commodity project there with tin, tungsten, and copper, and we'll update the market as the work continues there. So our flagship asset was historically the largest hard rock open cast tin mine in the world. You can see the pictures. It was mined up until 1989, when the tin price dropped as a result of world markets. And you can see what we've done is recreate a large part of that plant. Since we've listed, we've moved rapidly into the various components of the project. We've updated the historic resource into a JORC compliant resource, placing us as one of the biggest tin mines in the world, and that's only on the existing pits. We've completed and commissioned the construction of a processing plant and achieved nameplate production. We have signed an off-take agreement and continue to successfully ship regular shipments of tin concentrate into the world market. And the robust economics that we're achieving in the pilot facility will enable us to de-risk the construction of full-scale commercial production. We are not speculators, we are miners, and so we've taken great care in terms of making sure that where we're mining is feasible. So we used a lot of the historic data and created a geological model. And when we declared a resource, not only was the resource sort of intact as per the historic resource, it was in fact 50% bigger, and that was only on one of the pits. Ancillary to that, we also declared a maiden resource of lithium, which is a significant lithium deposit in its own right. In fact, possibly one of the top 10 hard rock lithium mines in the world, as well as tantalum, which gives us the possibility of numerous different revenue streams. But that resource was declared on the V1, V2 pit. What the old timers used to do is they would mine, they would find out where one of these pegmatites outcropped. They would then go in and mine a pit and open up a pit. They mined over 12 different pits. And the V1, V2, the resource that we declared on that pit places us in one of the top 10 tin mines in the world. But where this really becomes one of the most significant tin assets in the world is that in addition to these existing pits, there's another 180 outcropping pegmatites, which all technically should have a potential of being a pit in their own right. We've already intersected another significant pegmatite, the W17, south of the mining area, and we'll be following up on this as our exploration program moves forward. The mining is relatively straightforward. You can see these pegmatite bodies are absolutely huge. There's a person to scale in the picture at the bottom there. Everything in white basically gets run through the plant, and everything in black is overburdened, so you're getting very little mining dilution. That's all surface deposits, so it's open cast, so we benefit greatly from economies of scale. The metallurgy is relatively straightforward. We're getting really good recoveries of tin. You can see in the diagrams the cassiterite crystals, which is where the tin occurs in, the tin and the tantalum actually. They're very coarse, and so we're getting really good liberation from our plant. The tantalum and the lithium will follow suit. We're in a very mining friendly jurisdiction, so we've got access to grid power, access to large supplies of underground water, and this will stand us in good stead as we grow the project forward. We're looking at this stage, now that we've achieved steady state production, we believe we can expand the feed into the plant, and this will enable us to take advantage of a running tin price, as well as adding different feeds of tantalum and lithium, and ultimately we'll look to increase the efficiency of the plant. So all of this work will take place during the course of 2021, and we're pretty excited about what lies ahead for this year. The long-term development is leveraging our existing operations and scaling up by a factor of between 5 and 10 times what we've got at the moment, and becoming one of the biggest tin mines in the world. Our target has always been $100 million of revenue at a minimum in 5 years, and we believe that with the lithium and with the tantalum, we'll be able to achieve that, especially given that AfriTin is an all-in-one energy and battery metal company. What AfriTin gives you is exposure to a major tin asset of global significance. We're fully permitted operational tin mine with lithium and tantalum upside. We encompass all of the key minerals in the battery sector, and this gives us a real opportunity to ride the wave of the tin price and the lithium price in the coming months. Thank you all for your time. Please do get in touch with either Vox or Turner Pope, or indeed us directly, and should you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now.
Anthony, thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing the presentation there, the webinar. Very interesting tin. It's one of those metals that I've been hearing more and more about of late, Anthony. And let's start off with your share price. It's done very well of late. One of the highest closing prices ever. It's been rising very quickly. What's your thoughts behind that?
Yes, Justin, thanks a lot for having us here live this evening. Very exciting time for us indeed. The tin price, as you well mentioned, is rocketing at the moment. It is the forgotten metal in our opinion, and the fact that we have brought successfully a tin mine into production within 3 years of listing, I think is starting to feed through into the market as quite an achievement. It's an achievement for ourselves, and especially for a very strong team behind me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a question here says, AfriTin presents itself as a prospective champion of African tin mining. Some analysts, however, suggest that on a 5 to 7 year view, the value of Wheaton's other mining output, tantalum, lithium oxide, could be larger in value terms than tin. Do you share this expectation?
Yes, absolutely. You know, tin is our base load. It's our cash flow that we starting to make profits on already, which is obviously very exciting and being fed through to the market. But I think where the real sort of cherry on the cake comes is in our byproducts. Currently, we're producing a tantalum and a lithium byproduct, although we haven't sort of brought that onto industrial scales sort of production yet. But absolutely, I mean, our lithium resource that we declared recently places us in one of the biggest lithium hard rock deposits in the world, and producing that as a byproduct, which we are currently throwing off into the waste dump, gives us a huge upside for the project and for the company. Indeed.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that lithium, because there's a question here. So, do you anticipate that any of the lithium going to the EV market? Is it suitable, or will it go to other premium markets?
At this stage, we'll be producing concentrate that will be going to the premium market. But there is definitely an opportunity to convert some of the lithium into lithium carbonate that will be used in batteries. And that's the beauty of these pegmatites that we're mining, is they offer a all-in-one stop for battery minerals.
Yeah. And we can't avoid this question. The impact of COVID-19, what's happened there on the development there? Has it impacted, would you have reached the nameplate sooner if it wasn't for the pandemic?
Yes, we definitely would have. Unfortunately, COVID hit when we were just about to start ramping up into full steady state production in March last year. A lot of our suppliers had been cut off, and it definitely delayed us a bit, and obviously had a knock-on effect on costs. But the fact that we actually managed to get through it, and we're stronger for it because we're producing cash and we've got a huge resource behind us, places us in a really, really strong position in the junior mining space.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Who are your peer group? Is a question here, and how do you compare to them?
Look, to be honest, there's very few people that compare to us. The fact that we're in production, there's not a lot of tin projects out there. We've been hunting tin projects all over the world, and apart from three major established tin producers and our colleagues in the DRC in the middle of the jungle, we're standalone as one of the preeminent tin producers in the world.
Excellent stuff. Question: you mentioned in your presentation that you are conflict free. What do you mean by that?
So, as a lot of the tin mines are running out of ore and resources, you're finding people going to harder and harder places and sourcing minerals from more and more sort of dubious places, such as the DRC and places like Myanmar, as you see that recently there's been upheaval. So what we're in a mining friendly jurisdiction, and we're classified as a conflict free mineral.
Excellent stuff. Okay, and here's a big one to finish off then, Anthony. What is the strategy for growing the company to $100 million company in the next 5 years?
So we've got a strong pedigree behind us in terms of building and developing strong mining projects. We've put a really capable team of engineers and geologists together, and we've got the expertise in-house as well as the capital markets expertise to really bolster the company. We want to take our existing operations and turn those into world-class producers. And not only that, but we have the capabilities of identifying and developing new projects in and around Africa.
Excellent stuff, Anthony. It's very good to chat to you, and it's a very interesting market, tin. And like I said, it seems it is one of those forgotten metals, because but now it's starting to catch up slowly, I think. But good to chat to you, and hopefully we catch up in the not too distant future. Thanks very much, Anthony.
Yes, great. Thanks a lot, Justin. Appreciate your time.